In today's video, I'm going to break down to you exactly how you can benefit from guys like Iman Gadzhi, who have made hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars online, and how you may be more valuable to him than you might think. So let me break down to you now how you can make money from guys like Iman Gadzhi without having to do any of the work that he does himself. Let me explain it to you now. So it all starts with this little sort of equation here, right? You've got Iman here, right? 2.2 million followers, very well known. Most likely you've heard of him. Now, what are the two things that he has? He has a following and he has knowledge, right? So what did he turn this knowledge and following into? He turned it into two of his main businesses. Agency Navigator, which is an info product business that teaches people how to start their own agency, and Educate, which also teaches people how to start their own agency, how to get into other business models online as well. So Iman had the knowledge, and then he decided to make businesses teaching other people. And that allowed him to scale way, way beyond 100K per month, if not $1 million a month through this. Now, how can you actually benefit from this directly without having to pay him hundreds of thousands to join one of these programs? So let's start with his main business, Agency Navigator. This was the first one that he launched after he started his own agency. So as I said, it's a business that helps beginners start their own agencies, marketing agencies, whatever it might be online. Now, Iman had the expertise as he had his own agency prior to this, which again, like I've already spoken about, that's the knowledge. He already had the knowledge. So what did he do? He started pumping out content and ads about starting an agency, how to gain a following, how to start a business, how to sign clients, right? And then he would start running ads as well on Instagram. I'm sure you probably may have seen some of his ads online, right? What did this lead to? It led to intrigue, right? Loads of guys saw him making money and they thought, wow, like how is he actually doing this, right? How can I start an agency? How can I be in the same position as Iman, right? That's how people think. So they have that intrigue. So what do they do from there? They then message Iman. And Iman has this whole system in place so that people see his ads, they're interested, and then they message him to find out more, right? So they're in Iman's DMs, they're replying, they're messaging him, they're seeing, asking questions, etc. But what people don't know is this isn't Iman replying. You really think Iman Gadzhi has time to be replying to loads of DMs about questions? Of course he doesn't. So what does he do? He hires a team, right? He hires a team of people to do it on his behalf. And these guys are what's known as DM setters or setters. So what is the role of a DM setter, right? DM setter's role is to answer rough questions. So again, someone might have messaged Iman, asked a question about an agency. He doesn't have time to answer himself, so one of his team does, one of the setters. They answer rough questions. They then qualify the leads to make sure that, they have enough money, that it's a right fit, that this program's actually going to benefit them. And then from there, the job of the setter, the person in the DMs, is to then book a call in with that prospect with one of the closers, which is basically one of the sales team. That is their aim. Their aim is to get this lead from asking questions onto a sales call. That's their job, right? So it could be, you can do this through the DMs, as I've already said. You could be on the phone to prospects as well, trying to speak to them and get them to book into a call directly through speaking with them on the phone. There's tons of different ways that you can do it. But the main ones are DM and phone setting. But for this scenario, for this example, we're going to talk DM setters. So from there, right, the client or the potential client at this point, they've seen the ads, they're intrigued, they've asked some questions, they've now been set for an appointment with one of the sales team. And this is where it happens. They book the call and they go onto a sales call. Now, these sales calls, typically on Google Meet or Zoom, the potential client will jump on with one of Iman Gadzhi's team members, and these guys are known as closers, right? They're the closing team, the sales team. So what will happen? They'll jump on a Zoom call with one of these guys. They will one of Iman's team will speak to the interested lead. Again, answer any questions they might have, sell them on Iman's product. And in this case, that's Agency Navigator. So sell them on the idea of them starting their own business. And then they get paid a commission, right? They then get a commission for the work that they've done. So let's break that down. Paid client. So again, typically let's say Iman's program, I don't know exactly how much it is, but let's say it's $5,000. And typically the prices of these programs are usually between about 2 to 10K. Let's say it's 5K, right? 5K deal. That means $4,500 is going to go to Iman, and that $500 goes to you as the closer, right? If you're one of these guys here, you get 10% commission, so you make $500. And typically, these calls usually last between 30 minutes to an hour long. So you've then made $500 for the work that you've put in. So let's do some quick maths on that, right? Let's say you take 5 calls a day with interested leads. You close one of those leads. You make $500 in a day. You stack that up over a month, you've made 15 grand in a single month. Now, I know you're probably thinking, well, that can't be as easy as that. Of course it's not. You know, nothing comes easy. There's no free lunch, of course. But the fact you can actually get yourself into this position is huge. Like, I know tons and tons of guys who are making 15K a month, right? Pretty consistently through selling stuff like Iman's program. But that leads me to my next point. It's not just Iman's program, right? It's tons and tons of other programs. If we come up here, you've got guys like Iman, but you've also got guys you've probably heard of, like TJR or Alex Eubank or Brez Scales. You know, all of these guys, extremely well known at the moment in the online space. These guys post content. They go through the exact same system that Iman does here. They have a following. They have knowledge. And what do? They turn that following and they turn that knowledge into a product they can sell that will then make them money. But again, nothing grows without sales. All of these guys, they need sales teams, right? They need people who can actually close the clients who are interested, right? And you might be thinking, well, Ben, you know, it all sounds well and good, but I don't really want to be closing for these online guys. I don't really want to be working for these online guys. It's not really my gig. Well, the good news for you is you don't have to be closing for these guys. Tons and tons and tons of businesses need closers. And here's just to name a few. Marketing agencies, like I've already talked about. You know, it goes full circle, right? These people that Iman teaches to start their own agencies, once these agencies get up and running, guess what they need? They need a sales team, because every big business needs salesmen, right? It's just a fact. They need it, because without a sales team, the business doesn't grow. You've got education companies, B2B businesses, you know, more corporate, ad agencies, email marketing, fitness coaches, right? You need to sell fitness programs to people, recruitment agencies, e-commerce coaches. I actually sold for an e-commerce coach. Mindset coaches, sales consultants, personal brand coaches, video, like the list goes on. The amount of businesses that need talented salespeople is through the roof right now. And there's a huge opportunity for people to come in and start reaping the rewards of these businesses. You don't need to start your own business. You don't need to be posting content. You don't need to be going on YouTube. You don't need to be doing anything that I'm doing right now. None of that. All you need to do is learn how to sell for one of these businesses, and you can make a shit ton of money. And it's what I've done, and it's what I've taught a ton of other people to do as well. Well, the next question you might be asking yourself is, can you do it yourself? Well, do you have a laptop? Do you have Wi-Fi connection? Because if you have those two things, you can do this. I am in the middle of Budapest right now, living here for the next 3 weeks with my laptop and Wi-Fi, and I'm making money using this exact method that I teach people how to do. So can you do it? Of course you can do it, right? If you can speak to people, if you can jump on a Zoom call, you can do this. And just to show you proof, this is exactly what I've done, right? This is me traveling the world. This is me in Thailand, in Marbella, in Croatia, in Croatia as well. I've traveled all over the world the past 2 years using this method. I've sold coaching, I've sold e-commerce coaching, I've sold B2B stuff, right? And I've made my money through being an online sales rep, which has allowed me to travel around the world, make a lot of money, upwards of 15K per month through this skill, right? So that is exactly how you can benefit from guys like Iman. You know, the guys you see online, you can directly benefit from them and you can make money through them, right? And that's what I wanted to show you in this video. Now, from here, where do you go? Well, you've got 2 choices. One, you can either go away and just think this is a scam, think it's not real, and fair. I don't really care. You can do that if you want to. Secondly, you can find out more. If you want to find out more, click on my YouTube, watch my content. There's tons of free value on there. Check out my Instagram as well. I always post content around this space, results, etc., etc. If you also want to book in a call with me directly to find out a more nuanced approach about how I could potentially help you get into this space, I'll leave a link in the description of this video. But hopefully that was useful, and I will see you guys in the next one. Cheers.